I've run 200k a week for the last 3 weeks in Kenya. Today, for the fourth and final week, you see every step, and with 4 hard sessions and a 2-hour long run, it's going to be a grind. Let's go. It's my final week in Kenya, so I thought in this video I should take you through a full training week. Starting this on Tuesday because yesterday was just very easy 1-hour run. Added some 20-second strides in there just to keep some pop in the legs. But proper training starts today with a threshold session on the track. This is the first session I've done since I got here that I've not had breakfast first. Just didn't feel that hungry, so I had a snack and have a Morton caffeine drink mix that I've left. So I'm going to go and get that, and I've also got an emergency gel in my bag just in case, and then we'll be back in plenty of time to get some breakfast. It was in my bag the whole time, so I'm walking up this hill for the second time this morning for no reason. But this is my 4th week now in Kenya, and training really couldn't have gone much better. Had one session last week that felt a bit tired, but I think that's just part of the territory. I've been averaging 200k per week up here at 2,400 metres, so I'm obviously going to start to get tired. That just means that we're training properly, but I've definitely got one more week in me, and then I will leave Sunday night, so going to get another full week of training in. So I've made it to the track here at Kipsone. It's about 4 miles from Iten, so just hopped on the back of a motorbike. Occasionally I jog home, but I think it's just a little bit too far. 5k is like fine for a warm down. But anyway, this morning we have got 4 by 8 minutes threshold with 2 minutes jog recovery. Track is very busy, as it always is on a Tuesday morning, and I expect that I'll be one of the slowest people here because that has been the case for the past 2 Tuesdays. But very, very inspiring place to be. And sometimes I can latch onto the back of groups, quite often I can't, but it definitely helps just having people here, having a bit of an atmosphere, knowing that people are watching one of the only white guys at the track. But I'm going to go and do a 2-mile jog warm up, and then we'll be back for some threshold. That's 15-minute jog done. Now we're just going to do 2 by 200 metre strides. This is a Tuesday morning at 8 AM and there's hundreds of people here, but just going to try and get this done best I can. So that is session done for everyone by the looks of it. I do feel like threshold isn't feeling as easy as it did 2 weeks ago. Of course that is just that I'm getting more tired from the training, and I think that you just need to find that line where you're still getting stuff done even if you're feeling a bit more tired. I'm feeling tired in the easy runs, I'm feeling a little tired in the sessions, but I'm still able to get them done well. I do think this track's a little bit generous. I was getting 30 metres beyond 6 laps, and I think the track is slightly short. So 312s is probably more like 317s to 318s, and that's just because of the tight turns with the GPS. The hard work is the hard work. That's probably about my 6th or 7th threshold session up here, so I kind of know what I'm supposed to be targeting anyway, and another good day. Also, if you wonder why running in lane 1 is so important on this track, this is the mud from running on the outside in the warm-up compared to no issues with the Pro 4s because I was in lane 1. Yeah, I always wonder why I feel so bad warming up in this track, but it's just that my shoes are like twice the weight they were when I started. Now that I've finished training, a brand new group of like 100 Kenyans have arrived at the track. Strength in numbers, that's all it is. So it's Tuesday afternoon, just about 10 to 5, and now I'm going back to the track for the second time today. Now you're probably thinking, Ryan, why would you go to the track twice in one day, especially for a threshold session in the morning? And honestly, I just love the monotony of it. I don't need to think about where I'm going to do my session. I just know that I'm doing it at this track. And also, like, the GPS being a little bit generous on the threshold is nice. It's easy to control because it's the flattest place around here. Also, mornings at the track are just very inspiring. So that's why I go in the morning, and I go in the afternoon because I've got 3 sets of 5x600. So a hard sort of 5k, 10k session. Generally on these sessions I have just been standing still, trying to get my breath back. But tonight will be a jog. So I'll probably just do 200 metres of jogging really slow. Means every rep will be the exact same. But 9k of work with an extra 3-ish k of jogging. Hopefully I can feel as good as I felt in my Saturday session because I absolutely smashed that. But let's go find out. Made it to the track, and as always on an afternoon, I'm the only person here. Well, the only runner here. Kenyans just do not do afternoon sessions. Afternoon is for recovery. So when you see all the success of the Kenyans, just remember that they're doing all that without doing double threshold and double sessions. They're just running really hard in the morning and jogging around at night. But that is not the European way, so tonight I'm going to be doing a session. That's 50-minute jog done. That's the best I felt warming up here. So hopefully that's a good sign. Pretty much in these harder sessions, and especially the one you've seen in the previous Kenya video, they've been like max effort. Last week I tried to avoid that and it felt so much nicer, and it ended up still being a really strong session. Hopefully that can be the case again tonight, because really destroying yourself up here is just so hard. I can recover from it, but it's probably just not that enjoyable and not that sustainable when you're pretty much on your red line from the first few reps. This is actually the first evening session I've done at the track that there hasn't been a huge group of kids here who follow me around. I don't like to have sad about it, because really when you're maxing out a session and there's kids every single lap asking you how you are and following you around on your recoveries, it can get a bit much. I was pretty slow there on the harder part of the warm-up, so my first rep can be really bad if I don't get a harder warm-up done. Just like clockwork, they're back. Right, what, are you running with me?
You're going there and stop there.
Yes, and then I'll do a slow jog back to here to start again. Yeah?
She's going faster.
I'm going to go fast, hopefully. Fast for me. That's first set done. Definitely feels pretty tough. I think I'm controlling it. Like, I don't feel like, oh no, how am I going to get this done? But it's just so hard up here, man. I feel any slower would just feel like I was hardly moving, and any faster would just be like too hard. If I can maintain that pace for this set and still feel like we're going to get it done, I think that'd be a really good day. Still 10 more 600s to go. This is hard for me, just because it's easy for you. First rep of second set done. Definitely just need to try and control my breathing. It gets to the point up here where you're like, if you miss a breath or it's not deep enough, you're just going to really struggle. There's like just enough air to get this done. Hopefully I can settle back into 142 highs, 143 lows. This set will be a little bit quicker, and then we'll be almost home. Over halfway done, feeling a bit more relaxed in the first half, so we're going to get it done. Not sure what in the world happened there. Went from running 142s, feeling pretty good, to reps 4 and 5 being like max effort, 146 and 147. Gonna go to the toilet, try and be back for 3.5 minutes and see how the next rep feels. But I'm definitely not just going to dig this if it's just going to keep getting slower. I don't think I've ever had that happen where I felt like I was like in control, and then the next rep I felt like I was pushing harder but it was slower. Last rep coming up. I'll talk through what's actually happened in this set once I've recovered, but 10 seconds of this recovery to go. That was horrible. Horrible. Oh. Well, that ended up being a much more raw and authentic session than I would have liked it to be. Basically what happened is I got through 8 reps, feeling strong, feeling quick, was starting to feel a bit more relaxed, and then on rep 9 I suddenly felt like I was working quite hard, and usually when that happens it's because I'm running a second or two too quick, but actually it ended up being a 1:45, and I was like, oh, well, that's a bit weird, maybe I just lost concentration or something. I'll forget it happened, lock back into 1:42s, was slow again and hard again. So I was like, right, okay, this isn't great, but my stomach's hurting a little bit, maybe I haven't fueled properly, so I'll quickly go to the toilet, have a gel, and then hopefully feel better in the last set. So started the last set, confident, fueled, bills emptied, 1:47, and I'm like, okay, if I see 1:50, I'm calling it a day. 1:49.98. I was like, oh, okay, what do I do now? Because it felt pretty bad. So I jogged around the like 150 metres and then started to walk, because 90 seconds for a 200 metre jog was too much, so I was able to like jog 150 and then walk. And then when I started walking I was like, this is stupid, I know this is a bad idea. So I stopped my watch, fully intending to be done with the session. For less than 2 seconds, immediate shame waved over me. So I restarted the watch and went on the 3rd rep. And by that point I knew, like, even if it was 150, I wasn't going to stop with 2 reps to go. And I actually was able to pick it up a little bit on those last 3 reps. So I got it done. Whether or not I should have got it done is maybe a different story. I think I've been riding the line and maybe just tipped over it a little bit tonight. I'm going to just jog as far as I feel like. Probably won't go 3k. Just heading up for dinner. It is raining. Only been at my run for about 10 minutes, so just missed it. But one thing I do want to say about Kenya in the summer, because it's something that concerned me, the weather has been amazing. It hasn't rained during the day once in 4 weeks that I've been here. Perfect for training in the morning. Not windy at all, which is something we're always dealing with in Glasgow. It's another day in paradise. Pretty much every day since I've got here, my eyes have like pinged open at 6:45 a.m, ready to take on the day. But this morning, woke up, looked at my watch, and it was 8:15, so really must have needed it. And just because I got that good sleep doesn't mean we're going to absolutely smash it today. I'm still going to just jog around the football field, which is pretty much the only flat place in E10. I do want to still keep the mileage up. I don't think that's the reason why I'm tired. I think I've just been squeezing a bit too much intensity into the week. So it's 5 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. I've spent the whole day just relaxing, staying off my feet. Also got a massage, had a really good lunch, and now just going to do the exact same run as earlier, making sure I'm really letting those legs recover. So just about 5 miles in, feeling a lot better than this morning, having to think a little bit more because there's a lot of footballers here and kids. is run done. A little bit slower than this morning, but felt like I could run all night. So now got about 45 minutes to get gym done before dinner. I've actually got a new strength coach in the past 2 or 3 months, so gym routine is looking a little different from it has for the past 15 years, because basically what we do is 4-week blocks where we'll do 2 sessions. Each is different, but after that 4 weeks we'll then change into a new routine. Get some variety in there, which is a nice change for me. Just looking after the 1%, making sure when it comes time to race that I'm ready and strong. Currently 8:27. Well, as always, be cutting it very fine because I really want to get about 20k in before breakfast, which finishes at 10, but I think it's important to maximise sleep. So this group here are doing diagonals, and I've been doing them for ages, like probably close to an hour. So basically what you do is you sprint diagonally across the football field and then you jog the short straight of the football field. And the really interesting thing about Kenyan training is that, one, they never pace themselves. Like, this is the guys doing the diagonals. These guys were running in that group earlier. So they never pace themselves, they never learn, they just go as fast as they can and then slow down. But also, they never stop, they just keep going really quite slowly. They just always get the volume in. Usually at home we would pace ourselves for the whole session, make sure the whole session got done at the right pace. And if it really started to tank, like it did for me the other night, potentially think about pulling the plug. But these guys are just doing it on their own now, running way slower than the main group, who are like almost half a diagonal ahead of them. You'll also notice that quite a few of them are in long sleeve and arm sleeves. I am sweating, it must be about 20 degrees. Full black tracksuit. 20k in 90 minutes done. I didn't mention, but that run was not fasted. I had a chocolate bar before and 40g carb gel about halfway. And going to refuel with 1 litre of blackcurrant Fanta. I had actually went into the shop intending to buy 1 litre of apple juice, which I would have preferred, but apple juice is more expensive than Fanta. So this will do, definitely one of my favourite things in Kenya. I don't drink that much fizzy juice at home, I actually drink almost none, only after like a really hot long run. But I think it's very important to get the sugar and the calories in up here, and it is hot, so it feels nice drinking something with a bit of taste in it. So we've got 3 pancakes and 3 sausages, Kenyan tea. And if you're thinking, wow Ryan, that looks like the best life ever, you would be correct. Yeah, I'm going to put some peanut butter, jam and honey on this. Maybe even go back for a few more pancakes. Who knows, we're just going with the vibes. Life is good. You know what time it is? It is 5 PM, which means double run. Today's one of the only days I felt a bit lethargic and tired, like I would always feel like back home. Don't really feel like running, expecting it to be a bit of a slog. Don't know why that is. I've been trying to get to the bottom of why I feel so much better here, because I don't think it's the diet. So I drink a lot more fizzy juice here. I have been snacking on chocolate bars and stuff and taking protein bars. So I think it's just the general vibe of the place and the sun. But yeah, feel like I could be doing my bed already. But the mileage isn't going to run itself, so let's go. 800 metres in and came to the trails because I feel a lot better than I did before I started. And also had some niggles in the first minute or two. Probably not a good idea to do another 30 laps, but 10 to 12k on the programme for tonight. Again, we'll just see how we feel, but leaning towards 10. Smash tomorrow, go a bit further tomorrow night, and then smash Saturday. After all that talk of only going 10k, of course I went 12. I do like to front load the week as much as possible, just in case anything comes up where I need to cut mileage back. I'm going to go and do some mobility in the gym. This is another new addition in the past few months, but new strength coach, got to do what I'm set. Well, that's been a pretty perfect, easy day. 20 miles of running, plus a mobility session. Went for about a 20-minute nap. So now just going to finish up the night with a good dinner, and we'll be ready to go for a threshold session in the morning.
We normally eat the yellow one.
It's finally the second session day of the week. This morning I have got 6 by 5 minutes at threshold with 60 seconds jog recovery. So the people who know me or have watched these videos for a while will realise that I'm getting out training much earlier here than I would at home. I set my alarm for 7, it's now 20 past 7. And I'm already out the door. In Glasgow I set my alarm for 8, and if I'm out the door for 10 it's good. But that period between like sunrise about 6:30 and 8 AM, it's like perfect temperature for training. I'm fine doing threshold in the heat, but at the end of the day, if you don't have to, it's better. And if I ended up having another bad session because I slept in and it was too hot, that's just daft. Also, for anyone wondering where I'm staying, C&C Guesthouse. Really couldn't fault it at all. It's really close to the main road. It's cheap. The meals are really good. The rooms are great. They have a gym. Perfect. So that'll fuel me for the session. Pretty much eat this and run right away. My stomach's pretty good like that. Only spend about 10 minutes here and then get more back to the track. Arrived at the track and I probably look like a different person from the last clip. There's no tiredness that Kenyan tea and a fast motorbike ride can't sort out. Usually when I come on a Friday, it's quite quiet. I think Kenyans train Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But yeah, a decent chunk of people here today. So plan is just to make sure that no matter how I'm feeling, that this actually feels like threshold. Last Friday when I did a threshold session in the morning, that was like the most tired I felt here. And I think that was just because I'd maybe been running my easy runs a little bit too hard. I did Holly's session with her on Wednesday morning and then went running with one of the guys here on Wednesday night, and he was sort of pushing on. And I think just at altitude, the margins are so thin that really me running 4-minute Ks with Holly's session or 4:30s uphill on trails with that guy, it's not that easy. I'm not really recovering from it. Could get away with it at sea level, but not so much here. Session done. Definitely felt better than I have been in these threshold sessions. Still didn't feel fantastic. I think always those first 2 reps are a little bit tougher, both mentally and physically, because basically straight out of bed, no coffee, and just straight here to the track. I'm just not used to that. So started a bit slower, which was always the goal, and then got down to 3:12s in the second half when it felt a lot easier. Another thing that surprises me about Kenyans, they don't eat that much protein. Lunch is pretty much just noodles, rice, veg, not really any protein in there. And then of course there's protein with dinner, but it's not like a main staple of the diet. So if you are coming out here, some protein bars are probably a good thing to bring. Should have done it before and after. I feel like even though I'm eating all these every day, I'm still getting quite skinny here. Definitely not trying to. I'm eating as much as I can, but the food is just so much healthier. So probably lost a couple of pounds. I'll never know because I didn't weigh myself before I came. I don't know if it's coming across, but I just love my life here. You have some breakfast before you go training, and then you come back to this, and then literally over 7 hours until I need to do anything. I'll probably get a massage, but seriously just the most relaxed life you could possibly ask for. Completely revolves around training. I could spend my life here, but unfortunately only 2 more days.
And then they came round.
So just out here on my second run. Left it a bit late tonight because I'm not going to do gym later. The plan tonight, and I'm going to stick to it, is 10k because I have my hard track session tomorrow and really want to maximise the opportunity of finishing the training camp on a high with some nice splits that feel pretty good. Keep your easy runs easy, especially at altitude. Drop the ego, don't care about what Strava thinks, and make sure you get the mileage in because that's the most important. I don't look at my watch on these easy days. I literally just run at whatever effort feels right and then see at the end. So obviously I've ended up back on the football pitch. Ran about 6k outside and now just a few laps of here. Got the bank to get my money out for the accommodation and run back down the hill. Might go in some shops and see if I can buy some Kenya clothes. So I'll not be going to the running shops tonight because I just spent 15 minutes in the bank because the ATM took my card. I now need to go back to the bank tomorrow, first thing in the morning, to get my card back. The only one slight issue is I forgot to bring my bank card here. So it's Holly's bank card, it's in the machine. And it will be fine, but thought I was going to have a nice night going through the running shops. But I'll have to wait for tomorrow as well. Well, it is my final full day in Kenya. This morning I've got a track session and I had planned to wake up an hour earlier and get it done first thing so that I could go to the bank and get my card back, but really just couldn't sleep last night. I had the best nap ever yesterday and then last night just tossing and turning. I had organised to meet a pacemaker at 7 AM, but like 11 I texted him and was like, can we just do 8? I'm not the kind of person who can roll up to a session of 6 hours sleep. So set my alarm for 7:30. It's now 7:45. I'm going to go and quickly grab some food and meet him at 8. So just walking now to get a motorbike to the track. But basically this guy who's going to be pacing me, someone recommended him to me last time. And I remember I did 7 by 1 mile. It wasn't quite fit enough to be on the front for the whole thing. So I thought, okay, I'll text him again. Hopefully he's got fitter. We're doing a shorter session and he was just not fast enough to be on the front for even a whole rep. But because I do all my training on my own, even just having someone there to like get me out on pace and stand around with me on the recoveries seemed to really help. So I've gotten back this week. Session is shorter again, 3 sets of 800, 600, 400, 200. And kind of the problem is with these pacemakers, when they see me train, they all think I can run 207. Obviously I can't run 207, but I would need someone who thinks they can run 207 to pace me at the front of these sessions. And guys who think they can run 207 aren't pacing people for 1,000 shillings. So I don't know that there would be a much better option. See that guy in the blue t-shirt sprinting over there? That's my pacemaker. Pretty sure this is the hottest I felt it here. Still only 9 AM, but my pacer's here. He was just doing his own session beforehand, so it doesn't exactly bode well, but would you believe my pacemaker's watch is dead? It's been a disaster so far, but I'm sure it will be fine. Don't know if he's trying to get someone else's watch or fix his dead watch, but it's not looking good for the pale pace job. I don't know if that felt as good as last week for me, but it was maybe just a little bit quicker.
Now you tired?
Yes.
A little bit. Seconds to go until the second set. That was already way harder than last week, but we're going to just keep working through it, keep sitting on the pace, and before we know it, it'll be done. I felt better already. I thought he was slow there, so very pleasantly surprised to see another 2:15. It's a good sign. Hopefully can just either keep this set the same or progress it a wee bit and feel better. And then we'll be nearly home. That's 2 sets done. Definitely felt a lot better on that set. 600 was a little slow, but I'm just trusting our man over there. I don't think it gets easier as you go. I think it's just that there's a big difference between feeling on your red line after 1 rep and feeling on your red line after 2/3 of the session.
Ah, congratulations, man. Well done. Well done.
Thanks for that. Oh, session is done. Really happy with that. Wasn't sure how it was going to go after the first rep, but actually after the first set, I was able to really work well, and I was still, I would say, on the red line, but I was pushing it and I was hitting really good splits. So kind of when it gets to that point in the session where I'm really redlining, but I'm able to push through and still maintain consistency, that's how I know I'm in great shape. That's pretty much all the hard work for Kenya done. I will do a long run tomorrow. When you're not in marathon training, the long run does take a bit of a backseat, and it's still in there so that when you get to the marathon training, it's not a massive shock to the system, but the main emphasis is on these hard days. We're jogging, Kenyan shuffle, that's what they call this.
Yes.
Well, it's that time of the day again. Some people call it 5 PM. I call it double run time. This afternoon we have got at least 12.3k, and you're probably wondering why 12.3k? Well, because I'm currently on 157.7k for the week, so tomorrow will be at least 30k. I mean, you're never guaranteed, especially on a long run at altitude, but it would take a lot for me to not get 30k tomorrow, and to hit 200k 4 weeks out of 4 would be the sign of a really good training camp. And at the end of the day, the more running that you can do and recover from without sacrificing the hard days, the better. and I really don't feel like we're sacrificing anything at this point. Run is done. Went for an hour, 13k, and also stopped off at the supermarket to get some tea spice. I think the only place I've ever drunk tea is in Kenya, but it's lovely. So if this makes it taste anything like here when I get home, I might be switching out my coffee for tea. Yeah, now just going to quickly go to the gym. Got about 45 minutes until dinner, so I'll just about fit it in, I think. You can always be late for these meals, but it's better to not be, especially on my last night. Well, that's me. Only got 2 hours of training left in Kenya. Felt really strong in the gym, which is always a good sign. Means I'm not doing too much on the legs. Yeah, so now just going to head up to dinner and get a good feed in me. I'm absolutely starving. Well, it is my final day in Kenya. I slept like an absolute log and woke up before my alarm at 6:30. So it's now not even 7 o'clock, and I'm going to go up and get a really quick breakfast, and then decided about 5 minutes ago that I'm going to head down to Moyben Road, just because the paved road that I used for my long run last week, which is NE10 and is only about a mile away, is pretty hilly. There's nowhere up here that's flat, but the hills on the road in A10 are steeper than those at Moyben, and time is not an issue. I'm not getting picked up until 3 PM, so I will definitely be getting a nap after this long run. But yeah, breakfast, then we'll go get the bus and we'll chat long run. So I've made it to Moyben. Plan is to do 30k or 2 hours. I'll go at least 2 hours and I'll go at least 30k. Hopefully they both come about the same time. Completely on my own today. No bike support, no Holly here. So I have left my stuff in a hotel over here. That's top tip for anyone coming to Kenya on your own. You can bring a bag down to Moyben and just leave it in that hotel. Just give them 50 shillings or buy something and they're quite happy. That's me just about 5k in, feeling absolutely great. I don't know how this has suddenly happened in the last 24 hours of camp, but definitely feeling the best I felt on a long run so far. So just going to try and keep it relaxed. There is no point in me smashing this when I've got travel coming up and when I've had such a good camp. Just turned it halfway. There's a massive group of really fast marathon runners just ahead of me. So that's inspiring, but don't feel like I need it today. Feeling great. Oh, also, it's definitely going to be more than 30k because I turned it 15.5. 5k to go. This is absolutely the easiest these paces have felt up here. Well, that is long run and training camp done. I must have been really moving on the way back there because the first half felt so easy and controlled. It's a few hundred metres lower than E10, so running feels just that little bit easier. But that'll be training camp done. I hope that was insightful into a week of training camp. That's pretty much how I'd want them all to look, and pretty much has how they've all looked. The worst of them was actually that Tuesday night session here. So you've seen the worst, and honestly you've probably seen the best with that long run because it felt so good. No injuries, no illnesses, not a single missed mile. Now just excited to get home. So this trip did not end up finishing how I planned. Basically, to get home from E10 you have to drive 1 hour to Eldoret Airport, catch a 45-minute flight to Nairobi, and then fly back to Europe from there. So I booked my flights weeks in advance and organised a driver to pick me up at 3 PM. About 11:30 AM, I'm sitting eating some food post long run, and I get an email from the airline telling me that my flight has been delayed by 3 hours, meaning I would reach Nairobi 20 minutes before my flight to Amsterdam. So I rushed to borrow the owner of the guest house's phone. Shout out to Chris and Carol, by the way, they're always so helpful and friendly. Phone the airline, and there are no other flights. So I phoned the driver that we've been using for the whole trip, explain the situation, and he says we need to go right now. So I sprint down to my room, pack my case the quickest you've ever seen, and jump in his car for a 7-hour drive to Nairobi airport. There were a lot of nervous moments with traffic, and my knowledge that Kenyans generally aren't that reliable when it comes to telling you how long something will take, but we made it 2.5 hours before the flight, and in the end it was 23 hours of travel and an extra 25,000 shillings for a 7-hour taxi ride. I can't thank my driver Titus enough for being available at a moment's notice, and thanks to Kevin who actually got me to Nairobi with some of the best driving I've ever seen. Also buy me some corn and a samosa, since I obviously hadn't planned to have enough cash on me to feed myself all day. Anyway, that is Kenya done, at least for the time being. If you got this far into the video, then you should definitely subscribe for more training, more races, and I will see you next week. Cheers!